Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Etheria restart video. So in today's video, guys, I wanted to do a little character overview of Tsukiyo Mi. I think a lot of people watched my video yesterday showcasing, all RGB SSRs, at least. There were some LDSRs in those teams for Inferno, for Nico Nana, and also for Doki Doki. And then on the Hell 4 stage, this is where Tsukiyo Mi is really helping me as well for Aurora. So I just want to do a character overview of her, showcase, how I have her built and how I'm going to eventually try and build her, I think. All right. So I think Tsukiyo Mi is the true Lily replacement. The reason why I say this is because, believe it or not, there's only four heroes in the entire game that have an AoE speed up. One of them is Mio on her skill 3. The other is Lily, which most people know. You have Tsukiyo Mi, which also has it on her skill 3. And then you have this fire unit down here called Kazami Kazuyo, which I think I eventually will build up for people to see. But I hope, as the game progresses, that the developers eventually release a green character, whether it's SR or even, rare would be awesome, that has an AoE speed up. Because right now there's a light, there's a dark, there's a blue, and there's a red, but there's no green. And that kind of makes it difficult when it comes to mixing and matching between the different module stages. So if you don't have Tsukiyo Mi, I think it makes it tough, especially if you don't have Lily or Mio, because that buff is so rare. It's a hard thing to find in the game. But I truly think that she is a Lily replacement. So let's talk about her kit, and then we'll talk about why. And you'll see a lot of similarities. So some of her skills are fully leveled up. I talked about this in yesterday's video. So the effect that I'm going to be reading is based on that. So when you fully scale up her skill 3, she does a 100% turn meter boost to the target. So it doesn't need to be the hero with the highest attack or defense or anything like that. It's whoever you pick. They boost their turn meter by 100%, and then she also boosts her turn meter by 35%, and then applies attack up and speed up to all of your allies for 2 turns. This is an absolutely amazing skill. I truly believe that it is better than Lily's twin trick because it applies to the entire team. Now, Lily does have on her skill 2 an AoE speed up, but Tsukiyo Mi adds the attack up, which Lily does not. Lily adds a bunch of other different things that Tsukiyo Mi doesn't really do. So I wouldn't say that she's better than Lily, but she's certainly comparable, and I think she does perform better than her in certain areas. So this skill 3 is absolutely cracked. Because she boosts her own turn meter by 35%, she loops back around to this skill a lot quicker than it reads, right? On her skill 2, she does an AoE attack, and then she has a 35% chance to inflict silence on somebody. But the thing that makes this skill really great is the attack also reduces all Animus and Shell skill cooldowns for all allies by 1 turn. That is really, really nice. Case in point, if you had another person on your team that had this Artisan shell. The thing with Artisan, I think most people know that he adds a really big shield and he increases defense, but it's on a 1-turn cooldown. So if you wanted this as early as turn 1, you could use Lily's skill 2, and the person who had Artisan could eventually then activate their Artisan automatically. So that's a very strong ability, case in point, with something like Artisan. But even if you use this on turn 2, then Tsukiyo Mi is able to reduce the cooldown of what Artisan already had, which then turns into a 3-turn cooldown. So it starts at a 1-turn cooldown, which you can also reduce, and then after you proc it, it goes to 3 turns. Also, I do want to mention that someone said yesterday that you can't reduce shell cooldowns. You can, but there are specific shells that say that you can't reduce their cooldown. So I know that person had said the developers said you can't reduce cooldowns of shells. You can. It's just there's specific shells that say you can't. So just keep that in mind. So this is a very strong skill. This is similar to Lily's skill 3. Lily's skill 3 reduces the skill cooldowns of the Animus that has Twin Trick on her. But Tsukiyo Mi does it to your whole squad, even if, you don't need the Twin Trick thing. So I do believe that this skill is probably worth leveling up. Reducing skill cooldowns in the game is quite strong. However, I have prioritized the skill 1 over it, which whenever it's fully leveled up, anytime she uses her skill 1, she will boost the turn meter of the ally with the highest attack by 25%. So she does a lot of turn meter boosting while also giving really relevant buffs to your entire team and also reducing skill cooldowns of your shells and your Animus' skills. This hero is absolutely amazing. So how I have her running right now is on 12 speed and 8 bramble. I really like the bramble on here because anytime she is hit and she's able to counterattack, it gives that 25% boost to your damage dealer, your main attack damage dealer, which I think is not only great in PvE, I think it's also great in PvP. To really manipulate turn order is pretty nice. I think she does need to be in Swift Rush. I think you want her really fast. There are a couple other defense scaling heroes in this game, but I think some of them are a little more like sub DPSs or a main damage dealer, where Tsukiyo Mi I think is purely support. So even though I do have some of her gear sets, like with crit rate, to help with a little bit of damage, ultimately once I get better gear pieces, I think this will change. The reason why I'm running this is because it's in a matrix set that I want, and it has a 9 speed roll. So that's the whole reason I'm running this. But I have her on defense with speed, substats basically everywhere, HP here. I have speed sub-rolls, speed sub-rolls, and speed sub-rolls. One of the nice things about having her skill 1 prowess done is she does get 15 speed on there. So I have her cooking at a pretty decent speed. It's not the fastest. I do want to try and get this up to like 280, especially for PvP. But I do think this is a pretty solid kit right now, at least for what I was clearing in PvE. Now, when it comes to the shell, I am running Artisan, but I think a better replacement for her is Halloween. So once I get Halloween built up and I start farming shells again, I will run her on Halloween. And I think whenever you have more matrices drop on your shells by beating the Inferno stages, I think her build will change a little bit. So right now I have her on Swift Rush and Bramble. But when you unlock the 9 matrix drop shells, you have a little bit of variance available to you. So you can do a 12-8-6 build, and I think that's the thing that I'm going to be targeting a little bit more, which will be this. So if you guys are looking like towards the future of how I might change this up, what I'm planning on running is this. I plan on running Swift Rush as my 12 set. I plan on running Bulwark as my 8 set. And then I'm planning on running either Swift Raid or Swift Smite as the 6 piece. Because you get that additional speed from either of those pieces, which she needs to go fast. And then the immunity is really important, specifically for PvP, where if she's going at the first of the turn order, she won't get pushed back by any of the turn meter reducers, or maybe those crowd control heroes like Kraken, like Mio, or anything like that. But that is kind of what I'm targeting. I think for a PvE setting, Strive might be the better 8-piece set. You could also end up going Time Weave and Swift Raid for PvE, but that would be purely PvE, and you'd probably have to switch it up when it comes to PvP, which I won't like doing. So that's why I was going with the option that I said. But if you're strictly using her for PvE, I think one of the optimal sets is going to be Swift Rush and Time Weave, and then running her with Halloween, because Halloween also has those Matrix capabilities to allow you to end up building, a nice 24-piece Matrix set here, where you're reducing the skill cooldowns not only from the Time Weave chance, but also from Halloween's chance, along with having her speedy. So that's kind of my build with Tsukiyo Mi. I do want to mention some of the heroes that she works really well with. So after the 2x event is over, I actually need to run this again. I will end up running her in my Inferno Nico Nana stage. And some of the people that she pairs up with are obviously a hero type like Shiata, where Shiata focuses on multiple buffs to give her some Soul Flame boosts, right? I have a hero guide on Shiata, so she's a really great option here. I think one of the premier heroes that I really like running her with is Valerian and Kachi the Guard. So Kachi the Guard boosts buffs, right? Boosts the duration of buffs, while also adds defense up and immunity up. So with Tsukiyo Mi and Kachi the Guard here, they can almost always keep your buffs up 100% because Kachi the Guard's skill 3, which increases the duration of buffs, is on a 4-turn cooldown, but Tsukiyo Mi reduces that. So if you're running Kachi the Guard on Time Weave and Swift Rush as well, with maybe a Halloween, there is a possibility that you can just always have Tsukiyo Mi's attack up, speed up, along with Kachi the Guard's defense up and immunity the entire time. Now, if you pair this with someone with Valerian, who adds unique buffs to your individuals that they don't have already, meaning if they have speed up and attack up and defense up, she's going to add like crit rate or something like that. So she also adds shields. If you're running a Tsukiyo Mi on Artisan, like I am, Kachi the Guard has the possibility of even extending the shield duration on Artisan, which is extremely large, and it tends to fall off instead of being broken. So if you can extend the length of that shield, it's just absolutely amazing. Now, because Tsukiyo Mi is one of the only AoE speed up heroes, there are heroes in the game that pair well with her based on their speed too. Case in point is Rindy Unbowed. So this character right here scales off of her own speed, which I think you can see it. Yeah, okay. Sometimes I leave my face in the way. But this hero, like every percentage of speed that she has, she increases her final damage. This character would be absolutely amazing in this dungeon, and if I had more lattices, maybe I'd build her up, because I think this is a dungeon that you're going to farm a lot. A lot of the shells are very, very good, and with the 3 matrix drops on 3 individual module sets being available now in Inferno, I think you can kind of justify it. So some other heroes that I think are also good is any kind of hero that extends buffs. So you have heroes like Kachi the Guard. You also have heroes like Mia. Mia extends buffs, reduces debuff duration. So again, kind of just pairing with Tsukiyo Mi's attack up and speed up, and then also reducing the cooldown of Mia. So between Mia, Kachi the Guard, Valerian, like you can have all of these really huge buffs being constant on your team for a long time. Another one is Ling Luo, who a lot of people get for free. Well, everyone gets for free if you complete the 7-day challenges, which you should. But Ling Luo puts up immunity as well as extends buffs as well. And she's blue, so any kind of character that is in the same element as Tsukiyo Mi is going to pair very, very well. But yeah, that's kind of like who I'm running her with, targeting. I don't think there's really anyone else that I would like to pair with her. She pairs well with essentially anyone, because who doesn't want their skill cooldowns reduced, right? So I think to finish out this video, maybe we'll just do a run here, put in our Tsukiyo Mi and show you on Inferno mode. She's at the top of the list here. It's not Valerian, it is Shiata. And then we'll get out of your hair. So here she's doing the attack and speed up. Oh, I do not have a shell on Viper, so this will probably fail. But anyway, I guess we'll try it. So here's, the big artisan shield from our Tsukiyo Mi that went on Shiata. This is the thing where if you pair her with with like a Kachi the Guard, that type of buff can be up constantly. And you might end up being able to beat content that you weren't able to beat before because of it. So with our Viper not being in a shell, this actually will not work. But we're already at 16 minutes. I kind of just want to showcase the Tsukiyo Mi and what I was planning on, building her with towards the future and where I'm using her. So I am using her in Nico Nana. I think everyone saw the video that I posted yesterday showing the Inferno clear. If my Viper had some gear on, he'd beat it. Also on Aurora, same thing, but because my Viper's not built, I won't show this, but this is basically my team. I'm running her with all of the characters that I kind of mentioned other than Viper here. I think Kachi the Guard also kind of gets this done just because the team is strong with extending all of the buffs and stuff like that between Ling Luo and Kachi the Guard. But ideally, you do want Viper in there to remove a lot of the buffs from Aurora. And then she also is part of my Doki Doki Inferno clear. And again, I showed this all in yesterday's video. I went over all the teams and their stats in there, so if you want a more detailed breakdown, you can go check that out. But I just wanted to talk about Tsukiyo Mi specifically and some future plans and things like that. But as you see, kind of the same characters that I mentioned. So that's all I got for you guys today. More of a simple video for sure on a Sunday. I hope you're having a great day. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.